Welcome to Mind Your Health podcast, dedicated to empowering you on your journey to optimal wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Connie, bringing over 25 years of experience in psychology, nutrition, physical therapy, functional medicine, and yoga. Together, we'll explore the interconnectedness of mind, body, and spirit, providing you with the practical insights and holistic strategies to elevate your health. Let's dive into today's episode and take a step closer to a healthier, more vibrant you.
Hi guys, it's Dr. Connie with your Mind Your podcast. Welcome. I hope you guys are having a great start to New Year 2025. There's a lot of changes this year, both politically and otherwise around the world, and I'm super excited. But there's been a lot of things that's happened in the last year that I reflect upon, and one of them is the kidney transplant that I received about a year last year, as well as the failure of that transplant early part of last year, and then the effects of it. And so it really hit me hard at the end of last year, 2024. December holidays was really tough because I got really sick, and it made me think a lot about life and health and relationships and evaluate exactly what's important to me. And I keep thinking, and I had an influx of functional medicine patients this year, and there was always a pattern that I see with all my patients who are struggling. And so today's topic, as well as the last few weeks, have been all about the practical approaches of functional medicine and why holistic, functional, and conventional approaches often miss the mark. So regarding health, most people believe the problem lies in the specific physiological imbalance, a hormone out of place, a lab marker off, or a deficiency to correct. Holistic, functional, and conventional medicine all claim to solve these problems by finding and treating the root cause. But what if we're all looking in the wrong place? What if the actual root cause isn't just biochemical, but the very way of being, your body, that drives those imbalances in the first place? Now you really have to stop and think about this. So today, let's break this down in a way that's practical and relatable, because if you can understand this, you will heal and you will be disease free. So let's first of all talk about the stress factor, how cortisol wreaks havoc. So I want you to imagine your body as a car engine. Stress is like leaving the engine running on high gear all the time. And cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, is the fuel for reviving that engine. And when stress becomes chronic, it sets off a domino effect. And that involves, number one, hormonal chaos. Is why most of my patients that come to me, they almost always say, yeah, my hormones are out of balance. It's just a guess, but it's still, they feel like it's out of balance. Elevated cortisol leads to imbalances in reproductive hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And that's for females and males alike. So think of cortisol as the loudest kid in the classroom, shouting over everyone else and causing chaos. Okay? Number two is pancreatic problems. Constant cortisol release forces your pancreas, which is responsible for insulin, to pump out insulin to keep up. And over time, this can lead to insulin resistance, weight gain, and eventually diabetes. And it's like running your car on bad fuel. Eventually, the engine sputters. Keep in mind, high surge in insulin is also linked to polycystic ovarian syndrome. Many women have this, and I had one right at the cusp of it. And if you can really control this at the beginning, you have no problem. Number three, immune dysfunction. Chronic stress suppresses the immune system, making you more vulnerable to infections and autoimmune conditions. It's as if the engine overheats, causing the cortisol to slow down or Cortisol slows down your thyroid, affecting your metabolism and energy levels because thyroid is responsible for that. And imagine your engine is stuck in low gear no matter how hard you press the gas pedal, because in essence, you push the gas pedal, but there is no gas, right? So then it's pituitary and pineal dysfunction. The pituitary gland, which regulates other hormones, all the hormones really, it gets disrupted. And worse, the pineal gland, responsible for this sleep-wake cycle and melatonin production, it suffers, leading to poor sleep. And that's why many of you complain of poor sleep, weight gain, all the things, anxiety, depression, gut dysfunction. And this is like your car's headlight, failing in the dark, leaving you unable to see clearly. So let me share a little bit of my experience so you can see yourselves in my situation, because I think it always helps to know by example what it really looks like. So my functional medicine journey is that I vividly remember my journey with a functional medical doctor. I had been advised to go see this functional medical doctor, and at the time it was because of lack of libido. I was married to my now ex-husband, and I didn't really consider that my marriage itself was a trap by which I've trapped myself, and that was causing so much cortisol because we were fighting every other day. We didn't see anything clearly, aligned with each other. We were always struggling with each other, and I just couldn't get myself to even have any relations. And so it just became me taking care of the kids in the house and doing my business, and then he coexisting, but he wanted a lot of my attention. And when it came down to it, I had nothing to give. So I went to go see this functional medical doctor because he wanted me to. And I had high hopes, honestly, of finally finding the answers to my health challenges, because I was going through gut dysfunction. I was really, really sick at the time and always tired, foggy brain, you name it, and anxiety disorders. The process started with the extensive lab testing. I think I dropped about $3,000 in testing alone. And the visit itself was $649. And so you can imagine $3,649. I expect to get a lot out of that. The process started, followed by the extensive lab testing, followed by detailed plan to address what was labeled as my root cause. A known hormonal imbalance, because we know cortisol is off because of my stress, my sexual hormones are going to be off, my thyroid, my immune system, my gut function, my pancreas, all of it. So treatment, though, included exogenous hormones. I was given progesterone specifically, and a handful of supplements that I was supposed to order. I wasn't told how long. I was just told to come back in 3 months with the hefty price of course. I think the follow-up visits were $549, but still. I was told to follow a restrictive diet, elimination diet to be specific, but there was very little guidance on how to implement it. They just gave me a handout, or how it might affect my long-term health, or what that looks like. No medications were offered, and while I appreciated the effort to avoid pharmaceuticals, I was left with unanswered questions, and my time was up. And I had no way of contacting that doctor other than an expensive visit. So my questions were, should I take these supplements and hormones forever? How long is this? What can I expect? How will I know if this is working without constant, expensive retesting? Is it sustainable for the rest of my life to drop $3,000 to $4,000 each visit? And each follow-up visit came with high costs, and retesting felt like a financial burden that really didn't match the value I was receiving, honestly. I left feeling like I had been given a toolkit without the instructions to use it effectively. Now, I was told to manage my stress better, What does that even mean, right? So there was no tools given in a practical way for somebody to actually show me, because I know that my patients, they're extremely confused. They don't know where to start. They know what to do, but they can't get themselves to take the step-by-step approach because they're so tired and overwhelmed. And I don't know if you've been overwhelmed, but when you're overwhelmed, you get paralyzed. You don't want to do anything. You're depressed, you have anxiety, or you have both. And this can really pose a analysis paralysis in many people. So this experience was so frustrating and disheartening, especially since I later discovered that my functional medicine certification, when I went through it for 7 years, also focused heavily on identifying and treating imbalances as the root cause rather than addressing the critical lifestyle. Now, it did mention looking at lifestyle and considering them in my intake process. But my evaluation and treatment protocols, nonetheless, involved a lot of testing, supplements, all the things that the conventional doctors don't, but along the similar vein, right? And they failed to really address the stress factors driving these imbalances in the first place, the foundational elements that don't require a whole lot of expertise. It's as if, given the functional medicine certification, gave me the right to go searching and researching on my patients' behalf at their expense for me to learn and figure it out when I didn't have all the answers as the practitioner. So that got me thinking over a course of a couple of years that I practiced like this, that I learned, and I realized I saw a pattern with my patients. They weren't getting better. In fact, they were going from functional doctor to holistic doctor, integrative doctor to functional doctor, trying all the things. Nothing was working. Why? Because the root cause of their state of being and learning the tools that they need were never addressed. And this was really profound for me. So I got to thinking about, okay, what would I do? Because as you guys know, kidney failure, lupus for over 25 years. And I've toyed and played with every kind of diet as a registered dietitian. I know all the therapeutic movement patterns as a yoga teacher, as well as a physical therapist for over 25 years. And so I felt like I can get a handle on this. But everything that's really worked for me wasn't the complicated things, it was the practical things. I had to rethink and create new patterns and pathways in my brain to my body. And one of them, the most profound thing, is really getting in my body and understanding that regulatory function is all dependent on me. What I think, that triggers the feelings, that creates the behavior and this biochemical response within. Learned about emotional regulation, that when we feel emotions, that we have a chemical surge that follows. That if we're constantly stressed to the max and have negative feelings, that's most of us, well, then we're going to have a surge in cortisol. And you saw the effects of cortisol, how it affects your sexual hormones, your pancreas with the insulin and the pancreatic enzymes for digestion, your immune system, because over 80% of your immune system resides in your gut. And then there's so many hormonal brain chemicals that gets produced in your gut, like serotonin. Over 80% there again, produced in the gut. And so, but it's the first thing that's compromised when the cortisol rushes with the stress. So it isn't looking for the problem that's going to give you the root cause. It's only going to still give you the effect of the root cause, because root cause is your state of being. And you know what? Everybody's different. I can't tell you, you have to take this away, you can't take that away. I am Korean, and I have some foods that I don't want to give up. They're a source of comfort for me. And so being a rebel, if somebody told me you can't do this, you can't do that, I'm going to question everything. And I did just that and experimented on myself and realized a lot of these things that we're offering to patients based on theoretical understanding of our pathophysiology, in essence, is not really serving our clients. That what's better is, or what they need, in essence, is a better way to manage their internal state and systems. It's to learn to regulate the enteric, which is your gut, autonomic nervous system, which is your autonomic nervous system, the fight or flight, as well as rest and digest. Somatic nervous system, which is your body musculoskeletal movement. And then you can then integrate it into an empowered psychology, not disempowered. Most of us live in disempowerment. We have this heavy reliance on the doctors, like a lot of my patients. The common thing I see is, oh, I know my hormones are off. Are you able to do stool testing? Are you able to do hormone testing? That's what I read about. And this functional doctor is talking about it. And that functional doctor is talking about this supplement. So I have a lot of patients coming in with all these results. And then I realized, of course, they're going to be off. I already could have empirically, based on their symptoms, figured out that that's exactly what's wrong. And so don't go start at the effect, spending all this unnecessary money. Why don't we flip the paradigm to start at the solution by foundationally aligning and helping patients to establish homeostasis? Because then your body has the capability of not only healing, but creating balance from imbalance, from dis-ease to ease. And that's the goal of functional yoga medicine. So this experience taught me an invaluable lesson. No amount of testing, guys, no supplements or diets will ever be adequate long term if you don't address the foundational elements of health. And without the basics, the body's imbalances will inevitably return, leaving you stuck in a cycle of temporary fixes and ongoing frustration. So let me introduce you to the E.A.S.E method, a comprehensive solution. Because through my experience, I've come to believe that learning to regulate all systems in the body and understanding the tools for lifelong healing and balance are far more critical than constantly looking for a new problem to solve. And this is the foundation of my E.A.S.E method, which focuses on optimizing and regulating the aforementioned enteric, your gut, autonomic, your nervous system, somatic, your musculoskeletal system, and empowered psychology systems, which is your brain. Number one, enteric system. This is your gut, and it's your body's command center. Eating is not just about what you consume, but how you consume it. And food combination for gut health is something that I review in the 40-day gut reset. If you're interested, the link will be below to sign up for the next round. Chewing your food thoroughly, cooking simple whole meals, and paying attention to how your body feels after eating can transform your digestion and overall health. And if you don't create a strong digestive foundation, no supplements or diet will ever be enough to sustain your health long term. Number two, autonomic system, which is your A in the E.A.S.E. Your autonomic nervous system controls your stress response. Reframing stress and learning how to calm your nervous system is key. Simple practices like deep breathing, mindfulness, or even a moment of stillness can help regulate cortisol and prevent downstream effects on your hormones, thyroid, and immune system. And without addressing stress, you're effectively pouring water into a leaky bucket. In other words, you're wasting your time and money. Number 3, somatic awareness. So movement is medicine. This is your musculoskeletal system that allows you to move. Your body craves daily activity to maintain balance. It doesn't have to be complicated. A yoga session, a brisk walk, or even a few minutes of stretching can help you to reconnect your body and keep your systems aligned. And neglecting movement is like letting your car sit idle for too long. The parts begin to rust and the system deteriorates. Then there's empowered psychology. In my experience, mindset is the most critical factor in healing. Your mind is only as effective as the strength of your body and vice versa. And by addressing emotional health, learning to regulate it and feel and name your emotions specifically, cultivating resilience, taking control of your healing journey, you empower yourself. You get confidence from within to make lasting changes. Because healing today requires you to be at the helm of your health. And without a mindset shift, even the best protocols will fail to deliver meaningful results. So why does mindset matter most? Because this is the thing, even in my registered dietitian, when I was teaching people how to eat, when I was teaching people how to move better without pain as a physical therapist, when I'm teaching classes in a yoga class, or a Pilates session with my Pilates clients, or functional medicine. Everything starts with mindset. And reflecting on my journey, I realized that no diet, supplement, or lab test was as transformative as the mindset shifts I had to make. That healing requires becoming curious about your own body and your own health and what it needs, and learning how to navigate the signals it sends you, because it's sending you signals as you sit here listening to me, as you sleep, as you go on about your day. It's not about constantly chasing the next problem or imbalance. It's about creating a sustainable way of being, and that simply requires you to tune in. Is why yoga is so embedded in everything that I offer, because it allows us to really integrate the 4 systems, the Enteric, Autonomic, Somatic, and empowered psychology. And if you don't address the foundational aspects of health, how you eat, move, think, and manage stress, you'll find yourself perpetually stuck in a cycle of symptoms and management rather than healing. The E.A.S.E method helps you to break free from that cycle by focusing on elements that truly matter. So it's a holistic but practical approach. The E.A.S.E method provides a practical framework for reclaiming your health. And here's how to start. Simply breathe. Take time to reset your nervous system with deep, intentional breaths that allow you to expand your chest and ribs. Allow the lungs to absorb and breathe in the oxygen while exhaling out the carbon dioxide in its full capacity for cardiometabolic, but also neurogenic effects. Number 2 is eat. Focus on nourishing your body with whole foods. Chew slowly, smell, taste your food, and listen to your body's cues, the fullness cues, the hunger cues, and respect and honor them. And you want to move, engage in activities that bring joy and vitality. And you want to reflect, address stressors, and reframe challenges. Because by focusing on these foundational aspects of health, you can address the actual root cause, your way of being. And the result is a body that feels better, a body that functions better and thrives without the endless cycle of chasing imbalances that may not matter as much as you think. So I want you to really understand that this is the pattern, this is what I've been doing, and this is really true. Sometimes the simplicity of it all, or the practicality of it all. I can be charging all these tests that come out year after year, and all these vendors that are at my email flooding me with information to have and use for you guys, I hold back and I want the minimal costs. I want to focus more on what we do, focus on the solution, not focus on the problem. And I think if we can turn things upside down, because that's how I've always been in my career, I want what is most effective, efficient, as well as results driven. I want it to be accessible for you guys, affordable, but also practical. So really think about this and think about it in a whole new way. And if you're not doing these elemental things, like breathing to regulate your autonomic nervous system, to really chew your food, to support the enteric, and then move daily through yoga, mindful breathing, and even that can look like walking or doing a simple yoga class, couple of minute stretches, and then maybe even journaling. All those three things will lead you to having this empowerment in your psychology, because you're doing the things from a place of being and controlling and managing your state of being. So simple, yet we make it so complicated. So you don't need any complex things, which leads me to say, if you're ready to take charge of your health, and sometimes you need a mentor and a coach like me to learn how to regulate your body, and you need accountability in the beginning, because our brains are so habituated. It's hard to pull us out. That's why we need personal trainers. That's why we need all these practitioners, psychotherapists to deal with the mental. Instead of doing it piece by piece, how about if you work with me to balance all your regulatory systems and learn the life skills that you need so that you can thrive in your life. We can implement, and I'll help you to implement the E.A.S.E method in your life. That is so simple to build a foundation of health that empowers you to thrive physically, mentally, and emotionally. Let's redefine what it means to heal truly, because our current system is not working. If you're with me on this, like, subscribe, and write me a review. I read every single one of them, and I'm so grateful. The other thing is, I do have a functional yoga medicine online membership where I'll be sharing the E.A.S.E method, weekly content being produced on a weekly basis, and then monthly coaching sessions with me where you can be a part of this movement at a fraction of the cost that it would cost you to see a functional medical doctor. We have tiers available. I'll insert the link below. Thank you so much. Have a blessed, the most amazing day, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Mind Your Health podcast. I hope you found our discussion insightful and inspiring. Remember, your journey to wellness is a continuous process, and every step you take brings you closer to optimal health. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who might benefit. Stay also connected with us on @Dr. Connie Chung on YouTube as well as Instagram for more resources and updates. Until next time, take care of your mind, nurture your body, and honor